Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. We are live. This is another episode of Top 5 with Chance Ellison. I'm, of course, your host, Chance Ellison, as you can read by the description and by the title. This is our big Black History Month special. We usually do this on the podcast, but this month we feel behind scheduling, so we decided to make this our big Black History Month special, saluting one of the greatest Black actors, not the greatest Black actor of all time, Mr. Denzel Washington. And I have a great panel to discuss this with me today. First of which, on the bottom, he's the host of Your List Sucks. He's a massive fan of this dude, so I knew I had to get him on for this episode. Cody Newberry. Cody, happy to have you back. How you doing, man?
I'm glad that you finally included me on the show. I think you did this in the previous runs or something of Denzel in the past, and I was not included.
I don't think I did any Denzel in the past. It's
well, good.
The same thing. I don't think I did this before.
Well, then you made a mistake on your first run of the show, so I'm glad you're finally doing it for the show. Yes, if you were to not included me, this has happened in like the fan communities, and somebody did it, and they missed some giant movies on there. So yeah, I'm glad to bring up some movies that need to be represented on here.
Well, we're gonna try and make this up right here. Next to him, he's the host of the Untitled Lucas and Zach podcast, which is I've been on a couple times. You can go check that out. He just did some Denzel movies, so I thought he'd be the person to have. Lucas Schildbach. Lucas, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I was wondering if Denzel is not the greatest Black actor of all time. Who is the greatest Black actor of all time?
That's a list for another day.
It's a list for another day. All right.
I think it's him.
Next to me is someone who I've gotten to know very well over the last year. You may recognize her, the Schmodown, part of the corruption. She's already gaining a huge following for herself. It's Miss Marisol McKee. Marisol, glad to have you on.
Oh, it feels great. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk about the GOAT. Yeah.
And next to me, rounding out the panel, you may recognize this guy from so many things. SEN, from Meaning of, First Take, and having one of the most infectious laughs I've ever heard in my life. It's Mr. RB3. RB3, man, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me, y'all. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Now, I do have to apologize first and foremost because to you four and people watching, I did kind of clickbait you a bit. We are not here to discuss top 5 Denzel Washington. Here's what we're actually here to discuss, and I think it's something that we need to bring up during Black History Month. So, given that,
oh no,
Cody, why don't you get our first nomination? Tell us how much you love Medea Goes to Jail.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have nothing. Gone Girl. I'm gonna nominate Gone Girl for being. He is a fantastic lawyer in Gone Girl. That's all I got.
I like when he plays the disciplinary officer in 2009 Star Trek.
He looks a hell of a lot like Colin Powell.
Look, we could do this list too. Let's go.
We could do it. That's another note. But for right now,
we're gonna need a different panel.
me and Cody might have to leave. I'm pretty sure I've seen like 4 movies with Tyler Perry in them.
And
none of which he directed.
Right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm gonna be honest. I think he played Colin Powell in one of them, and Cody mentioned 2 of the other ones.
I don't think he directed himself in Colin Powell. So that's Colin Powell. Yeah, no.
But he did direct The Oval, which you can watch on BET Plus right now. So
there we go. See,
go
subscribe to BET Plus.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, forget all that. We're here to discuss, of course, my man,
Watch House,
Denzel Washington. So the way the show works, we go in 3 different selection processes. The first one is the nomination round. What we're going to do is we're all going to go around the table. We're all going to nominate a different Denzel Washington film that we believe deserves to be in the top 7. We start with the top 7. We'll get down to the top 5 later. And I'm going to start with the first nomination because that's just how it goes. I get first crack at this show. First one I'm going to go with is one that I think is just a no-brainer. And I think that you're doing a Denzel list. This has to be on. There's no way you're going to escape this getting on. And that's Malcolm X. Malcolm X, his, I believe, second Spike Lee joint. Because I think it might have been his first.
Second.
I was right the first time. Okay, second Spike Lee joint. Coming out tackling Malcolm X, who's one of the most pivotal figures in the civil rights movement. And maybe one of the most complex figures in recent history. So a movie like that, or a person like that, needs time to breathe, needs time to develop, needs time to really get to know like the nitty gritty, get to know the why of Malcolm X as a person. And Malcolm X, the film, does that exactly. Denzel Washington is incredible in this film. He's just, every scene he's in, he is crushing it. You're absolutely invested in everything this dude has to say, kind of like you would be with the real Malcolm X in real life. Mm-hmm. This is an investment of a fucking movie. I'll say that right now. It's an investment of a fucking film. But it's a worthwhile experience. It's surrounded by a great supporting cast, great direction, and it's a role I probably should have won in Best Actor. Thank you, Academy, for starring Pacino for Godfather 2.
You said should have? Should
have, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm just making sure, yeah. You're damn right it should have.
All right, well, Cody, you spoke up first. I'm gonna go to you. So what do you think of Malcolm X? Should that be in the top 7?
Well, so this is why I messaged you and I said, are we doing performances or are we doing movies? Because performances and movies are two different things. Because there are movies that are arguably not good on Denzel's filmography, but he is outstanding. This movie is a mixture of both. This movie is, I think if you're not going to include this movie on Denzel, you probably don't need to be on the panel. No offense if you say no in a second. But I don't think this movie's a chore as much. Like, it's 3 hours, but it honestly flies by because his performance takes you completely where you're like watching, like you're in it throughout it. And again, like One Night in Miami came out, and I just thought no one could ever touch Malcolm X the way that Denzel did. And I thought they did it in a different way, but like he is phenomenal in this movie. The way that he didn't win an Oscar is one of the, that's why the Academy Award is really stupid at times. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it is one of the dumb. I've seen Son of a Woman, whatever. But there's no chance. This has got to be on the list. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. No. I second all of that. Yeah. It really hurts thinking about the injustice. What this award wasn't properly recognized by a very specific council. This is a career topper. It is such an undertaking. It would have been so easy to simplify things and to sugarcoat things and simplify things in a portrayal about a figure as controversial as Malcolm X, and Denzel does none of those things. He sinks his teeth into every aspect, every facet of this man. And you are there with it for better or for worse. You accept everything that he does as a man, not as a symbol, not as something. He is representative of something bigger than himself, but also you just take everything. And it's because of his performance that you absorb everything about Malcolm X, every step of his life. You appreciate him for just a man, a very flawed man, who never made any apologies about what he believed in and what he chose to do. And it's all because of Denzel.
All right, so Malcolm X is the first movie to make it on our top 7. Lucas, RB3, you guys didn't vote. So Lucas, what would you say about Malcolm X?
Oh, this is an easy yes. It's his best movie. It's the best Denzel movie. It's the best Denzel performance. It really does suck that Art Carney won originally because Pacino
that spawned the whole branch of chaos. Because
in history, Pacino in Godfather 2 and Denzel and Malcolm X are some of the probably 20 greatest performances ever, and neither of them got recognized because the whole weird cascade that the Oscars set off. Yeah, this movie's amazing. And I do think it takes One Night in Miami because I think that it is impossible to watch anyone play Malcolm X and not be like, they're not as good as Denzel, because no one will ever be as good as Denzel in that role. How
dare you, Kingsley Ben-Adir, not be good as Denzel?
I mean, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He can't fix that. He's doing the best he can.
He should be drawn and quartered. How dare he?
I'm not going to go that far, but okay. No, this is a great movie. Absolutely easy on the list.
All right, so RB3, this has been a clean sweep. Would you have said yes to Malcolm X?
Oh yeah, for sure. That got to be the first thing up on the block. Absolutely, for sure.
All right. So RB3, you didn't get to say in the last one. So I'm going to give you the next nomination. So you go ahead.
What do
you think should be on the list?
Well, that's a big honor. Oh man, I didn't expect to go second. So
anything can happen on the show. RB3, get ready.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I would have. There's probably a lot of people are gonna pitch great movies like Training Day and Philadelphia and like all the hits, all the classics. But I'm sure nobody's gonna put this up on the block. So I really want to get this out the way because this is a movie near and dear and deep to my heart, and that's John Q. John Q got to be recognized as one of the top Denzel movies of all time. He was one to put it all on the line to make sure his son got his heart. You know, he was trying to get Eddie Griffin in this movie. Nobody talks about Eddie Griffin in this movie. Absolutely, like, hilarious. Robert Duvall, like, all of it. Like, this whole concept. Can you imagine if your son got into an accident and you couldn't figure out what you got to do to him, and you know, are trying to make that choice to give him that transplant? Like, that's just some crazy stuff. And Denzel is rocking it. And it's like kind of a quarantine movie before it's a quarantine movie, because they all kind of stuck in that little hotel and the hospital to begin with. So, yeah, that's definitely my pick to put up on the block for sure.
I did not think of John Q this fast, but here we are. John Q is on the table. Malcolm X to John Q. Name in a letter. That's a fitting transition, actually.
See what I'm doing? Hey, there you go.
All right, so synergy. Lucas, you didn't get a vote last time. I'm going to go to you first. Does John Q make the top 7?
So I've seen this movie, and I don't know what this movie wants to be. Part of it feels like a thriller, and part of it feels like a very bizarre commentary on the U.S. healthcare system. And I don't think either of them is completely there. I don't think either of them completely lands. I don't actually like this movie. I think it's very cheesy. Denzel is kind of good. He's still good because he's always kind of good. But this to me it's a 2.5-star movie. It's a little bit subpar. I mean, hey, somebody's got to be the biggest fan of John Q, and we clearly have the biggest fan of John Q on the panel today. But for me, this movie is subpar and kind of at the bottom end of Denzel. So I would vote no.
That's 1 no for John Q. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to second that one. Look, Denzel's movie he has acted his ass off in some of these scenes. Like I again, like, you really believe he wants to, like, steal a heart transplant for his son, because that's what a good father does. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I just want to say this before anybody else votes no. I did watch this, not necessarily in film school, but I watched it in school in my medical occupations class. So take that for what it's worth. My medical occupations teacher, shout out Mr. White. He was the only black man teacher we had at our school. Of course, he's gonna show us John Q, our medical occupations class. So, shout out to piece of education right there. Piece of education.
Okay. Well, in all fairness, concussion wasn't out yet, so he would have shown you that instead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go. I know I can tell it's gonna mean a lot to you, RB3, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go no on this one. But you know, it's still alive. Marisol. What about John Q?
Well, that's where the distinction is about great Denzel performances or great films. And unfortunately, while his performance is solid, and it does deserve a lot of credit, and Denzel brings a lot of passion and ferocity to a very hot button issue, and it's impossible not to be sympathetic. He pulls you into that character. I do have to agree with my fellow panelists with this. The film itself, as a film, I did think did get a little confused in tone and is a little uneven, and is not strong enough as a film to actually, balance it out as a great Denzel film. I would not nominate it in the top 7, unfortunately.
All right, so John Q, first casualty of the Denzel War.
Shot it right in the heart. Shot it right in the hearts. And there's no Denzel to get a transplant for this movie. Yeah.
Cody, you did not get a say in this movie in John Q, but what would you have said?
The damn disrespect on this panel. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Listen. I'm not gonna bury my son. My son's gonna bury me is one of the top 5 Denzel yelling moments.
Oh yeah, that is a great line. That is great line.
But at the end of the day, this is a 3.5-star movie for me. I don't think it's great, but I don't hate it near as much as people think it is. I think this movie has a lot of heart. It is very misguided during it, and I think that's like the direction and script. But I mean, it's already shot down, so I'd give it a yes vote because I'm in good grace.
Fair.
We're good.
Fight the good fight. I got you.
All right. Cody, you didn't get a vote last time, so I'm gonna turn it to you. What are you gonna throw up for your first nomination?
So there's a lot of things I could have thrown out for Denzel's, and there's a lot of like no brainers, like Malcolm X. Like I'm never gonna waste my first shot on the show with Malcolm X. Like no offense, that's gonna get in, and we're gonna rank it where it is. But I'm gonna go with my favorite sports movie of all time, and that is Remember the Titans. Now, I think this movie is absolutely incredible, and I think Denzel is absolutely incredible in this film. I don't think the overall movie where it's I just saw it on the big screen for the very first time. It just came back to theaters when Little Things were, and I watched that over Little Things. And I made the correct choice, I think, because I think Remember the Titans just that is what I want in a sports film. I think it's one of the best sports films of all time. I think it is the best sports film of all time. And I think with that subject matter that they're able to tackle and the stuff they're able to, like, they discuss in a Disney film in 2000 is something crazy to me because at that time, no movie really tackled that subject matter. And I wasn't going to expect it from Disney to put out that kind of movie. So, yeah, him as Coach Boone is phenomenal. I'm doing Remember the Titans.
All right, Remember the Titans is on the table. RB3, I'm going to go to you first. So Remember the Titans, make top 7.
Oh, yeah, absolutely got to be up there. Remember the Titans is definitely a classic. I remember watching that when I was like young in theaters, and it definitely is. I think it's one of those quintessential. I think just not just sports movies, but just like high school movies. You know what I mean? Because it really gives you like pretty much all sides of like motivation. It's like super motivational, super like I don't know. I think any developing person, regardless of the sport or regardless of your ambition, should watch it because it is inspiring. And it is also like, it deals with like the topics of like race and like all that kind of stuff in a very like not necessarily in like an upfront way, like not necessarily like in an over the top way, but it still does it in a very respectful and understandable way, especially for younger audiences. So I definitely think this is one of the top Denzel movies for sure. And I think it's just an inspiring story. So,
all right, that's one vote yes for Remember the Titans. Marisol, do you remember the Titans? And does that make the list?
I do remember the Titans. I was there, and I second or third the nomination for Remember the Titans for the reasons that many of these gentlemen said. It is a sports movie that has, I mean, family movies had enough edge in the 90s, I think, and Disney continued this trend. Disney was even, I think, 90s Disney films and this one were more comfortable tackling a little bit more uncomfortable, little iffy subject matters than they are today. But this movie is reflective of that. I think that one of my favorite aspects about Remember the Titans that makes it that accessible is because it's not just about winning the game. Like it's not a singular kind of sports movie with a singular goal. Winning means something so different to every single character in that film. It means something completely different to the kids. It means something completely different to Denzel, like what it means to him and his family and his career and his reflection of him as a man. And Denzel makes about so much more than like, we just got to win the game. Like, he makes about so much more than that. So I'm going to second this for all the reasons that everybody said. And because it's legendary.
Hello, Adam.
That'll be Chance's next nomination. I know.
Hey, don't spoil it. Don't take it out of context. But all right, so Remember the Titans is the second film on the top 7. So Lucas and I didn't get a vote. Oh yeah, it would have been a yes for me. I don't know if it's my favorite football movie of all time, but it's definitely up there. As someone who did play high school football, not in Virginia, but as someone who can identify with this movie a lot. A lot of things I remember from this movie were like the team moments, and we're like Denzel. There were points when I watched the movie where I'm like, Denzel tells you to do something, and I go start running laps. Like he commands that much power as a coach. And also, up until Fences in 2016, this was the one time I saw someone talk shit to Denzel, and it was little Hayden Panettiere. And the only reason she got away with it because Denzel couldn't get away with like smacking her across the field.
No, we weren't there yet. Yeah,
we were not there. He was not the point.
You don't get that many rights. Yeah,
he was not the point to smack a child. Lucas, what would you say about Remember the Titans?
So if Malcolm X is his best movie, Remember the Titans is the movie where he adds the most to this movie. Remember the Titans with a standard performance in it is a 3-star movie. It is mediocre. It's sort of okay. It's kind of fun. But he is so good in that movie, he jacks it up like 2 stars by himself. Because the rest of that movie, if you look at the rest of the pieces of that movie, that's not a brilliant script, not brilliant direction, that doesn't have an amazing cast around him. But he makes that movie so much better. You could take him out of Malcolm X, put another actor in, and you probably still have a really good movie because the pieces around the movie are really good. This is the movie where he adds the most to it. Absolutely would be on the list. It's fantastic.
This is why I hate Lucas. This is why I hate Lucas.
Didn't you just say like he was tailor-made for Malcolm X?
No.
Yeah, good. Sorry.
He's amazing in Malcolm. He's better in Malcolm X than he is in Remember the Titans. But Malcolm X is a movie, has way more talented people writing, directing, and acting in it than Remember the Titans does.
You're disrespecting
You've literally,
Coach Yost, the
nobody
defensive coordinator. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm taking every last one of you out. One of the best sports speeches ever. Don't be disrespectful.
Patton
doesn't give enough credit. Patton needs more credit.
We do not disrespect Wood Harris in this house. All right.
Okay, Wood Harris is great. We all love Wood Harris.
Wood Harris.
All right, Lucas, you've said some very, very blasphemous things so far, so I'm going to go to you next for your next nomination.
Okay, so where do I go here?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not going to screw this up. So as Chance mentioned on my podcast, we covered all the Tony Scott and Denzel Washington collaborations, and it would be ridiculous not to nominate one here. The best one, and I do think there are two that are really close, but the best one is the first one, which is of course Crimson Tide. It is so tight. It is so Tony Scott and Denzel really thrive when you put them in these enclosed spaces with limited time frames. It really just builds the tension incredibly well, and they're just great at the technical aspects of how the submarine has to function. Really fast paced, and then of course the constant confrontation between Hackman and Washington is amazing. Definitely the best sub movie I've ever seen, and one of Washington's best movies, which is of course why I've nominated it right.
I mean, you clearly never saw Hunter Killer. This is your best sub movie.
Yeah.
I saw Kursk.
Oh my God. Never mind. All right, so where were we? Oh yeah, Crimson Tide is on the table. I'm going to myself first. Yeah, I think that this list would feel incomplete without a Denzel Tony Scott collaboration. There's one I might like a little bit more than this one, but
two are so close.
Yeah, I think I know the other one you're talking about. I think I still okay with this making the list. So I'm going to say yes to Crimson Tide. RB3, Crimson Tide. Does it make top 7?
So Crimson Tide is probably the one that most people, like you said, Chance, will probably remember the Tony Scott and Denzel collaboration more with. For me personally, though, I am a huge fan and advocate and supporter of Man on Fire. So that kind of is where my heart always lies. I know y'all think, dang, he likes only the trash Denzel movies. But to me, that's what makes it brilliant when he's just killing it in something that he shouldn't be killing it in.
That's very fair, actually.
So yeah. So for me, so Man on Fire will be up there. I mean, Crimson Tide probably is a better made movie though. So I probably would end up. I'll go with yes vote on that one. I'll go to yes vote on that one.
All right. So Crimson Tide is the third film to make the top 7. Cody, Marisol, you didn't get votes. So Cody, what would you say about Crimson Tide?
Well, my favorite Denzel and Tony Scott is Taken of Pelham 1, 2, 3. No.
Oh man.
No, I'm just totally joking.
Still the Man on Fire.
Whoa. The hate on Man on Fire is just
dude. I did an entire month of podcasts on these movies. I can tell you exactly what the worst one is.
So I'm a huge fan of Tony Scott and Denzel collaborations. I don't care. You're right. Even the worst one, I still find some enjoyment out of. There's no problem with that. I would go Crimson Tide is probably the best in my eyes. I even though Denzel did make me stare at a 2-hour movie about a train that I flippin' was so enthralled with the entire time.
Oh yeah,
But
unstoppable.
Crimson Tide and Gene Hackman and him in this relationship it's where it's shot. This whole movie works so well because of in the submarine. The tensions are already high, and there's no escape. So seeing Gene Hackman and him yell at each other, you're like, whoa. And Tony Scott does what Tony Scott does best and does a bunch of like naval like commands in there that no one fucking understands because he's done so much research on it. But let me tell you, this movie works, and his performance is fantastic. So yeah, I'm okay with it being on the list.
Yeah, he also took notes from Top Gun, included way less homoeroticism.
Not as many shirtless people.
although had that been in the movie, this might be number one.
It tanks baby oil sales for years.
They weren't selling the right baby oil. Marisol, what would you say about Crimson Tide?
Well, it wouldn't make a lick of a difference anyway. I would be the sole no for Crimson Tide. Not as sold on Tony Scott Denzel collaborations as everybody else on the panel is. Particularly, and for some technical reasons. I'm not a fan of the technical skills that Tony beat us over the head with in some of his later collaborations with Denzel. Starting with Man on Fire. But
yeah, there's some weird stuff going on in that one.
He tested a lot of things out. He just didn't know what he was doing.
He was trying a lot of shit out.
Look, God bless the man. He tried. Okay.
He was a guy with the editing software and did a bunch of fonts and zoom in. Listen, he's fine.
I only puked twice during it, so I guess that's something to be said.
Yeah.
While I am not as big on his action thriller collaborations with Tony Scott, and I would not vote for it, I still at least kind of meet you halfway and say that I think that Crimson Tide actually stands the test of time the most out of his collaborations. Although I still wouldn't vote for it in the top 7 Denzel movies.
Well, Marisol, you get to round out this round of voting. Something you would vote for in the top 7 because it is your first nomination.
Me? Mm-hmm. Okay. So some goodies have been said already, for sure. I still have time to say another nomination, right? Will I? Maybe.
I mean, maybe. Depends
on where we get. Oh, okay. And we already have.
We already have three locked in.
Okay. Well, I guess I got to pick more carefully. Okay. So I am going to go with. I'm actually going to pick Flight.
Yeah.
I am going to go with Flight for my. I think it does deserve a spot in the last one of these last 4 slots. I think it does deserve a spot. Denzel has always excelled at playing complicated men, and this is one of the career best for me. This is taking somebody who, in the hands of another actor, would just not be the same film, would not be the same impact, would not engage you as much, would not make you think. And even though on paper it's pretty much, no, this guy is fucking dangerous, and this is pretty clear that this guy's he's a drug addict, he's an alcoholic, he's on paper it seems pretty cut and dry, and you watch it and you realize the pain behind this character, the pain behind this man, Whitaker. And that could not have been done by somebody else as effectively as Denzel did. I think it's one of his career best. I think that Robert Zemeckis is adding all the sensory excitement. He's injecting the proper adrenaline into the story as a drama, and into into the actual scene where he's landing the plane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is harrowing filmmaking. And Denzel's performance outside of that is harrowing. And you are compelled, you are sucked into him making a case for himself. I know it's very complicated, and he brings out the nuance in that. Flight is one of his career best. I think it's up there with Robert Zemeckis' career best in the movies that he made, when he leans into those character dramas, how effective he can be as that kind of director, and not just a spectacle director, but like a really legit character drama director. I think Flight succeeds as a film and as a Denzel performance nomination. So it's my pick.
All right. So Flight is on the table as of right now. I'm going to go to Cody first. Cody, Flight. Does it make top 7?
Wow. So we got 4 spots left, and I hate doing this on the show. So I think Flight. I disagree a little bit on the movie itself. I think the performance is outstanding. There's no question about it. Like, I think of the 2000s on, I can't name a bad actual Denzel like acting performance. Like, I think he's firing on all cylinders. I think his greatest actor working. I just think the movie itself I don't love. I don't love the movie. I love the like him as the character and the struggles and stuff. I just don't love the movie as much. So I'm personally going to give it a no vote. But please don't hold that against me on my next nomination.
Oh boy, the return of spite votes. Oh boy,
it's not a spite. I'm just
like, it could be the return of spite votes. In which case, this could get very ugly very fast.
That's true.
Lucas, you also not get a vote on the last run. So, all right, the last one was your nomination, so of course you can get a vote. But what would you say to Flight?
So this is kind of where you get to the interesting part of your list, where it's like, if you only vote for movies that are exactly in your own top 7, you're never going to make this list happen. I do really like Flight. It saved Robert Zemeckis' career. I've seen every Robert Zemeckis movie in order, and watching those CGI ones made me want to jump off a bridge. Especially when you watch all 3 of them in a row.
It made me want to go on a plane. This guy was flying.
Yeah. This movie, I actually do really like this movie. Like, this is I did a ranking after I watched all the Zemeckis, and this is my number 5, which is kind of impressive because he has a couple really big ones at the top. I think I would vote for this, not just because Denzel was really good. I love John Goodman's ridiculous drug dealer with his lame ponytail with like the worst look I've ever seen in my life, but it's also amazing, and he just randomly shows up. And then Bruce Greenwood and Don Cheadle as his associates being really weird about having to pay for drugs is always a great scene. I will vote for this movie. I just enjoy this a lot. So yeah, I'm a yes.
All right, so we're deadlocked. RB3, Flight doesn't make the top 7.
Wow. So I'm not the deciding vote, though, right? Am I?
No. So if you say no, then I'm the deciding vote.
Okay. Well, I'm actually probably people wouldn't know this because I'm not in my bedroom, but I actually do have a poster of Flight, like literally right next to my bedroom. That's how much I love this movie, so much. Yeah, Flight's amazing, man. I mean, like everything Marisol said, from the actual plane sequence itself to the performance, like, of course, like people criticize it because it's not subtle with its like portrayal of alcoholism and all that stuff. But I think Denzel does an amazing job, like living that character, breathing that character, experiencing that character. And I think Robert Zemeckis does an amazing job of just making a movie about a drunk pilot not be unempathetic towards him, not be, especially when you're talking about him having all those years of all those CGI films. This film felt oddly like personal and real and just way better. So,
I am Beowulf.
Beowulf. Butts together in people's stomach.
I am Ripper, Terror, Slasher.
My favorite thing about that movie, Adam, is definitely the fact that they're like, we can't show nudity, so we're going to figure out a way to almost show nudity 40 times, but we're going to use light and shadows and the table and put anything in front of it at all times. But they're like, we're going to get real close to the line and step back.
Yeah, suddenly, Zemeckis saw Austin Powers, and he's like, you know what? That's a good idea. He's like, I can do that. Yeah.
It starts a really interesting run of his wife in his movies, being super sexualized in his own movies. It's a very weird trend.
But anyways, again, the top 5 Beowulf will be another episode, another time. But Flight is the 4th movie to make our top 7. I didn't have a vote. I think between top 7, I can let this one slide, and I can let this one fly into one of these spots. I don't know if I'll make top 5. We'll see. Yes, I did just make that joke, Cody. Roll your eyes all you want.
Inverted Flight.
Inverted Flight.
I got you.
Into the top 7. All right, so now we're back to me. Still a whole lot of big ones that aren't on this list yet, and we only have 3 spots. What to do? Guys, our condition's pretty good. See, in this movie, get a load of this. So Denzel Washington dies, and his heart is put into Bob Hoskins. They're nothing alike. And he sees Denzel as like the ghost. It's like it's Jiminy Cricket. And it's weird and it's fun.
Are we unanimously vote no?
It's kind of no. Okay, no. My real nomination is a lot of big ones that probably would get on. I'm going to throw some love to one that, look, when the filmography is diverse and as big as Denzel's, and with many like huge titles he has, there are certain ones that just fall through the cracks. One of the ones I think falls through the cracks is the 1995 neo-noir film Devil in a Blue Dress. So Devil in a Blue Dress is a I believe it's the 40s or the 50s. I think it's the 40s. It is the 40s. Okay. It's a 40s LA-based noir film where he plays a PI looking for this missing woman. And as the film goes, it just becomes like a more complex case, and you just feel this case like building, going over his head, and just going to a place where like he's just way out of his depth, way in over his head. And he's excellent. It's stylized. I think Carl Franklin did an excellent job with the direction. He's surrounded by a really good supporting cast. Like, again, Don Cheadle again is in this movie with him. You got Tom Sizemore's movie, but it's the Denzel. I mean, he had a great cast to support him, but this is a Denzel show, and shining in a role that's we don't get to see a lot of actors of color play. We don't get to see an actor of color play a lot of like period piece hard-boiled like detective private eyes like this. Yeah. So, but Denzel's an actor is like you gotta make us do more cops. Or you gotta make us do more investigating. You gotta have Denzel solve more crimes. And yeah, I think that this is one that people kind of sleep on, and they shouldn't, because this is actually like a really, really great movie. So yeah, Devil in a Blue Dress is my next nomination. I'm gonna go to Marisol first, since the last one was her nomination. Marisol, man. Devil in a Blue Dress, does it make the top 7?
Oh crap. Okay. This is tough.
Very tough.
This one's tough. So it has been a while since I've seen Devil in a Blue Dress. It's been a long time. I hear those things you're saying, and I do remember like Denzel's terrific, Don Cheadle's terrific, but I also remember Jennifer Beal being pretty weak sauce as a femme fatale. That was one of the weakest parts of the movie for me. Didn't bring it down, but
look, she's going from dancing under a waterfall to this. It's a big leap.
Look, range. All right.
Range.
This is tricky because the photography, the cinematography is pretty stellar. The mood is there. It is unique. We've seen Denzel play a cop how many billions, oodles of times.
So many cops.
So many cops. So many procedurals. This is absolutely a different angle, a unique angle. From something that we don't normally see. While I don't want to discredit anything about it, we only have so many spots left. And while I do think it could be a top 10 contender, I don't know if I would quite get into the top 7.
All right, so it's 1 vote no for Devil in the Blue Dress. I guess Cody's on the same boat because I see him breathing sighs of relief.
Yeah, there's 3 more films, and I like this film a lot. Like this, I watched this for the first time this year, and it's a super underrated Denzel film. It goes completely underrated. No one ever talks about it. I think Don Cheadle actually steals this movie from Denzel, which I think is hard to do. Ooh. I think Don Cheadle is phenomenal in this film.
He's real great.
But yeah, there are some that we haven't even talked about. There are big ones out there. I can't put this on there. No offense to Flight. Like Flight's on there, and Flight's a good performance. There's just not enough room, so I can't do it. So no, sorry.
God damn you, Flight. All right, fine.
I'd take Flight over this.
Damn it. All right, fine. Lucas. Okay, it's not dead yet. It's not dead. Lucas, what would you have said?
No,
what
it's
do you
it.
say for Devil in a Blue Dress?
So here's the problem. I haven't seen Devil in a Blue Dress.
That's a
God damn
no.
it.
RB3, have you seen it?
Yes, I have. Yes.
All right. I'm going to pass to RB3. You should say his piece before me. Because I have nothing to say.
And you
so
will be
it's good.
deciding. It sounds like you'll be the decider. That's fair.
Yeah. It makes more sense. If I'm
Fair enough. RB3, The Devil in a Blue Dress.
Yeah, I mean, I love neo noir. I love classic Private Eye Denzel. And I do agree this one's highly underrated. I actually do think there should be some level of representation of like that, like mid '90s, like Denzel, like that murder mystery, crime, like Denzel that we saw a lot of.
Like Virtuosity.
I'm sorry.
I said like Virtuosity. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are to me. Yeah, exactly. Same year too, 1995. But that to me is like, yeah, I don't know. I can't. But at the same time, like we are a top 7, and freak. Like there are only like a handful left, and we haven't even touched on Philadelphia or Training Day or like the heavy hitters yet. So I don't know. I mean, now we're kind of getting to the point where we got custom ones that we love. So I might have to say no to this one as well.
All right, goddamn. Well, good job, Lucas. You didn't want to break me.
Well, isn't the rule if somebody hasn't seen it, it's a no vote?
It's a no anyways. It's fine. It didn't matter what RB3 said.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
The least knowledgeable take should go last. Let the people who have actual opinions bring them first.
It's on my voodoo, Lucas.
Yeah, as someone who did a show with some very, very knowledgeable people, I can vouch for that. Is a good way to go about it. All right, so Devil in a Blue Dress sadly does not make top 7. RB3, we're back to you. Again, 3 spots left. What?
Let me see. Back to me. Sheesh. Well, yeah. I mean, this is really tough because I'm really gonna not say movies that like I really wanted on this list because we're already coming down like pretty down to the wire. But I am gonna go ahead and shoot up one that I mentioned up a little while ago was Training Day. Training Day I think is his Oscar-winning film. I don't think it's necessarily like the most like positive portrayal of Denzel or like what he can be, but he's just like the character of Alonzo is just like so beautifully flawed, and Antoine Fuqua's direction like made it feel like a gritty, like for real LA crime drama. And while like something like A Devil in a Blue Dress or like those movies feel a lot more like of their time, I feel like Training Day could still stand the test of time, even like today, even when we're still talking about conversations of like police and policing and all that kind of stuff. So I love Training Day. I think it's wonderful.
All right, so Training Day is up for voting. I'm gonna go first, and yeah, I'm gonna give this one. This is one where you might as well vary on it for sure. But I do think that Denzel is incredible in this film. Like I think it was this Oscar. Let's be real. Was this Oscar an apology for snubbing him from Malcolm X? Absolutely,
for sure. Yeah,
but do I think? I was gonna say, I still think it's a deserved performance because we never. This is the side of Denzel we don't get to see very often, if at all, where he has that kind of like gray area zone, that kind of like villainous type of character, which we don't see him do very often. A lot of his movies like the hero. Mm-hmm. But this is one where he has like some kind of shades of gray to him, and I really dig that. I think his back and forth with Ethan Hawke, but the two of them have fantastic chemistry in it. I think the pacing of it is great. I really like movies that take place in like the span of one day. It makes it feel, it has a certain feel to it that's just like it's like no other movie you'll ever see. It's one of 3 good scripts David Ayer ever wrote, and yeah, I will give this a yes to put it on top 7. I'm gonna go to Marisol next. Marisol, Training Day doesn't make top 7.
Short answer is no. Shorter answer is no. But hey, we know Training Day is inarguable for some people. Yeah, it's the one that got him the Best Actor gold. But we don't need to get into Oscar politics about that. We all
Yeah.
we've all discussed it. We all understand what it is.
Look, when all else fails, blame Art Carney.
Right.
Bastard.
Right. I do think that while this is a great performance in a career of great performances, yes. I don't think it's the top tier Denzel. I do think that, unfortunately, as we get a little further away from Training Day, I do not think it holds up as well on repeat viewings. I think the cracks are showing a little more as we get further away from it. I do find it particularly compelling, and as always, like I've said before, he excels. This is him at his best. He is the best at really, really complicated, morally kind of ambiguous characters that dip their hands into the light and the dark. Obviously, this one is obviously more in the dark. But I also think it's fascinating, especially when we see these kind of movies about corrupt cops and all of that stuff. It is unique to see an African-American man as the corrupt cop in this situation, which is not something that's unheard of, but like, for that to be the anchor of a film, I think that does give this a unique spin. It's a thunderous performance, but I think there are more nuanced performances, with more depth, than Training Day, that would still deserve spots in the top 7 above it. So, hey, there it is.
We're all tied up. Lucas, going to you next. Training Day.
So I actually agree with Marisol on this one. I think it's funny that this movie won the Oscar after he lost the Oscar to Pacino, because in some respects his performance is sort of similar. It feels like Denzel kind of ratcheting the Denzel characteristics up to 100, which loses a lot of the nuance, and kind of he becomes a little bit of a caricature in this film. He's so loud and so like in your face, doing all the specific Denzel things you think of, that in some ways it loses a lot of the greater meaning. I don't really like this movie that much. It's not terrible. It's not bad. I do think it's like in like the 15 to 20 range for Denzel movies, if I'm being honest.
Jesus.
There's just a lot of other stuff I prefer to it. Like multiple Tony Scott, like probably 4 Tony Scott Denzel collaborations to this.
Wait, 4 of them?
Yeah, I'd probably take 4 of them over. I'm gonna.
Why'd you invite him?
All right, fine. I guess we're tied. Luke, no, sorry, Cody.
Don't call me that after that speech.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, this is going to go into the positive direction, because the one before I say anything, this is a yes. I know Oscar politics, what it is. This man deserved the Oscar for this. No one dies like Denzel Washington. I'm going to tell that right now. That man puts it all on the line when he gets shot up in that street. If you haven't seen it, sorry, the movie's old. He is fantastic in this role. I agree that he's playing a character, but that's who, like, the character Alonzo's kind of supposed to be in this film. He is this larger than life. He has ruled that city basically for so long. He's got everybody in his back pocket. And then pretty much everybody gets tired of his shit around the same time and take care of him.
The jokes stop here, Alonzo.
I think I watched this movie just recently, and I still think it holds up. I still think it's incredible of a film what he's able to do in this role. And you don't get to see Denzel ever play this kind of role. Like, he's the bad guy in this film. Like, he is the kingpin of that city, basically controlling everything. And it takes, I feel bad for Ethan Hawke. He has a really bad first day on the job, like real rough. He's like takes hard drugs and gets blamed for shooting somebody. Like, it's rough, but yeah, I think this movie's absolutely incredible. I think where it would be 20 to 15 for Lucas, it would probably be in top 10 for me. So yeah.
So Training Day, aka Ethan Hawke, and the terrible, no good, horrible, very bad day.
Enjoy PCP. Okay,
it's on the top 7. All right, first day. Grab your PCP. Let's go. All right, Cody. We have 5 movies in the top 7 so far. 2 spots left. Proceed.
Well, it seems like 2 people are on the same wavelength tonight, so let's see. I I can go two different directions with this. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the one that I really enjoy, and I'm not trying to make this a theme. But I'm gonna nominate another sports film with Denzel, and I'm gonna put He Got Game. I absolutely love this film. It's a movie that I didn't think I would like so much. Because I mean, I've heard some people a group was not a big fan of it, but the more I looked at it, they made Ray Allen a fantastic actor in this film. Like Ray Allen kicks ass throughout this entire film as. So yeah, I think He Got Game is one of those interesting films. It has that father-son relationship that's pretty much torn apart, and Denzel's doing everything he can to try to get that, fix his wrongs, in his past. So yeah, I think He Got Game is a very important story, and I think it definitely deserves a spot on this list.
Definitely deserves a spot on the list for the best fictional schools and movies. Yeah, talking about good old Big State University.
Big State.
Big State. Yeah.
Big States. It's like, we didn't have the university. Okay, we're going to have Big Stadium. We'll change it later.
Yeah.
Crap. Movie shot. We didn't change it. Leave it. It's fine. All right, so He Got Game is on the table. I heard an enthusiastic sound from RB3. I'm going to take a venture and say what he's going to vote. But RB3, He Got Game. Does it make top 7?
It definitely makes top 7 for me. This was on my list to propose. I just didn't think, I honestly, I thought, really when after, y'all after we shot down Devil in the Blue Dress, I was like, oh man, no way, He Got Game is gonna stay in here. Because for me, I personally feel it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I have it on Blu-ray right here on my Blu-ray shelf. I personally love it. I've written about it so many times in film school, and for me, I love basketball. I love Ray Allen. I love Denzel. I love Spike Lee. It's the best of all of my favorite things, all coming together in one package. So for me, I was a little biased. I didn't think it was going to make it, but for if it's now that it's on the table, this for sure needs to go up there. The only thing that also keeps me a little hesitant too is that, putting 2 Spike Lee and Denzel movies on the list, since he's worked with so many great directors, but that doesn't matter to me because He Got Game is up there. So brilliant.
And as big a Kobe fan as you are, if he were actually in this movie instead of Ray Allen.
Yeah, I'd be mind blown. Yeah, I'd be crazy. He did audition.
Well, no, he was going to be in it, but he dropped out because he had a terrible season before.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 1 vote yes for He Got Game. I'm going to go to Marisol next. Marisol, He Got Game. Does it make top 7?
So He Got Game. Actually, when I was trying to think of my movies for the nominations for this, I kind of ended up creating in order to really narrow it down, because I had 15 movies. I was like, oh crap. So I had to try to categorize these kind of movies and his performances. And so I created this little subcategory of Denzel as a father figure to a young black man. So I created this little subcategory of Denzel movies. Yeah. And He Got Game was one of the movies in this little okay, I can lump these kind of performances and this kind of angle. And then I got to pick the best one out of this, and that's what I'll nominate. So He Got Game was in there because it is worthwhile. It is a worthwhile film with some complex themes and some complex things about fatherhood, about Black fatherhood. And the push and pull of their relationship, his relationship with Ray Allen, is really something to see. It is. I'm
curious what the number 1 on that list of father figures would be.
Yeah. But in my little subgroup there, it wasn't my number 1 of those picks. So I can't second recommendation for it in the top 7. Even though it is a passionate film. I'm so sorry.
That was just like a giant swerve.
Yeah.
So much positive about the movie. Okay, I guess that's 1 no.
Well, if we get around to my nomination, you'll hear part 2 of this. Okay, if we get to that point.
Okay, but maybe we will. Lucas, your votes. Actually, you know what? No, sorry, not you, Lucas. I'm gonna go with me. I'm gonna give it a yes, because I think that what works about this film is, well, I mean, not only the themes of fatherhood, I also really enjoy the themes of, just like commentary on the prison system and also commentary on the system of just college sports and how it's perceived, how colleges can kind of sort of use athletes for their own personal gain and like leave them in the dust when they're done with them. I think there's a lot of really great themes Spike Lee tackles in this film that, again, like, and I know we already have Spike Lee film on there, but he's worked with, again, the Spike Lee collaborations could be, if you're making a top 10, you're seeing like maybe like 3 or 4 in that top 10. So there's a couple movies I would have definitely said yes to because we're going down nitty gritty. This is definitely one of them. So yeah, I'm giving yes to He Got Game. So Lucas, I don't think your vote counts now because it's on the list, but what would you have said about He Got Game?
So this is where it gets into like the hard part of list making, which is that if there were 3 movies on the list, I probably would have voted yes. But because there's only 2 movies spots left, I would have voted no because I have like 3 or 4 others I'd rather have for those last 2 spots. It's in like the top 12 area, but it is one of those frustrating situations where it's like as the spots dwindle, you have to be even more and more specific, and that's why this one would just be a slight hair below the area I'd want to vote for.
Men on Fire. All right, fine.
No, I'm not voting for Men on Fire.
There's four Tony Scott films better than Training Day.
One of them is not Man on Fire.
That's the one that got away.
I still think 4 is a really dumb take, just to let you know. But that's just
all right. Well, Lucas, we're here. There's 1 spot left on the list. Do you have the movie to fill that spot?
This is where it gets brutal.
I'm just gonna no vote it so Marisol can nominate hers because I know.
Also, of course,
this is gonna get ugly.
Hashtag Big State for life.
Big State.
Big State.
You know what? I have to do it just because I don't expect this to make it on the list, but I'll throw it anyway, which is that Denzel is not only a great screen actor, he's obviously a great theater actor, and I think the performance on screen that really encapsulate this is 2016's Fences, which I love. I adore this. I love the fact that him and Viola did this on stage for like months. I think it really is one of the reasons that this works so much better. I just love this movie. I love watching Denzel act, and in a world, especially of the 2010s, where there's so many action movies, it was very refreshing and very enjoyable to be like, Denzel is doing a straightforward theater-based drama, and Fences is just great. He's got a baseball bat all the time. Who doesn't love a father who walks around wielding a baseball bat? That's just classic father right there.
God, do you ever walk around your kid with a baseball bat?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, cool. So that is a move of a good father.
Well, we keep trading people from the Red Sox, yep.
All right. Fences is up for voting. Who had the last night? Last night was Cody's. I'm going to go to Cody first.
So there's like 3, 4 that you can pick right now between this range. Philadelphia was one in my head, but I was going to nominate He Got Game or Fences. I love Fences. I hear the huge criticism that you can definitely tell it's a stage thing. I don't care like at all that you can see like it was supposed to be for a stage and they put it into a movie. I think his performance and Viola, I think those two bouncing off each other are just insane in this film. That entire scene out in the yard is like, why don't you like me? Like you? What's that entire speech that he gives is like, I'm just supposed to provide for you. Your life is mainly mine because of me. Like, damn. And then when he and Viola are just yelling at each other and she's like, I've been here with you the entire way. Like, it is, I know it got some criticism when it first came out, but this is one of those movies that like floored me when I first watched it. So I don't think it's going to make the list, but I'm not going to say no to it because it's one of my favorite Denzel performances of all time. So,
all right, so that's 1 vote for.
I thought you were going to go Roman J. You know.
No, I mean that's a great performance. That's
great performance.
That's the biggest gap between performance and movie.
If we did performance, there should be a whole different list.
Roman J is definitely on my performance list.
It's like an A+
but not my
performance
film
and a C movie.
Correct.
Because nothing else in that movie really works besides it.
Yeah.
No. RB3. Fences. Does it make top 7?
Absolutely not. I hate Fences. I
Really?
hate Fences with a burning passion. I cannot stand this movie. Like, and this is purely coming from a place of growing up in a toxic black family and not wanting to experience that on screen. I mean, come on. What are you doing, man?
That's
I don't want to see the drunk uncle or, you know, somebody like an actual father figure in your life. It's like, yo, I don't want to see this. I don't like this. I hate this. I don't like it. But the performance is great. The actual other actors in there, like besides Viola, and all the actors, all of them are do incredible
Steven
job.
Henderson in it?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Acting,
Yeah.
he's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, all the performances are great. I have a tough time for me personally. I can't get past like me just not being able to stand this movie personally, and then also just like the number of like black family like mothers or like who like quoting or just like people in general, black family mothers and fathers quoting this like, yes, senses. This is what we need. This is how we need to talk to our kids. No, shut up. You don't need to talk to nobody this way. Yeah,
That's the most valid argument I've ever heard against Fences.
Yeah, no, that's me.
Same here.
Yeah.
I swear, in like 3 years knowing RB3, I've never seen him get that impassioned about anything.
That's facts. That's facts.
That's facts, bro. Yeah, I'm kind of the same with the RB3. Not that I don't like him. I do think Fences is very good. But when you were talking about Denzel talent outside of like screen acting, I knew you're like alluding to directing as well. I think there's one other Denzel directed film that I like better than this. But Fences is very good. Denzel's great. Viola Davis is great. Her snot should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Just that snot was putting in work. Say what you want in the movie. That snot was putting in work. But I'm gonna give that a no. I'm gonna toss it over to
Can we kick
Marisol.
you off your own show?
I'm gonna toss it over to Marisol, who again, this would be in the category of Denzel being a black father to a black. Oh, they like being a
This is
black
one of the
father to a
movies.
father to a black kid.
This is on the list.
Yeah.
Where did this land on the list? Did this land above He Got Game?
So one, it does land above He Got Game for me. But in looking at, there's so many factors when it gets here. This is about more than just like the looking straight on unbiased lists. Like, you know, like now there is, we're at the last pick. Like there is something, gotta put the shit in perspective. We do have a lot of pain on this list. We got a lot of Denzel death on this list. And in my little group of Denzel having, a turbulent, father figure relationship with a young black man, Fences has the turbulence down. But I think there's one that has a little bit more hope that I would put into this last spot. So I am going to go no on Fences, but it is a turbulent and evocative and tremendous film.
So Cody, we're voting against every one of our picks from now on, right?
Yeah,
This is the part where it just becomes a war.
No, this is we're in full.
RB3 too.
We're in full spike territory. We're in war now.
We're gonna go through his whole filmography.
Then your seventh spot is finally Carbon Copy.
Carbon Copy. Jesus.
All right, Marisol, we're back
That
to
movie's
you.
still able to be streamed is insane to me.
Still got oh god, yes.
I'm still shocked.
One open spot left on the list. Floor is yours.
All right, you guys. Here we go.
It's gotta be a good pitch now. It's gotta be a really
I know
good
this
pitch
shit has been built up too much. All right. Be gentle with
He's
me.
already writing no on.
Would you hear me out? Okay, the lady has the floor. All right. So there is a Denzel movie and a Denzel performance that I think captures a whole spectrum of things in one film. And is one of his career best performances. Taps into, how important it is to have a bond between generations, how much somebody's experience, somebody's injustice can derail their life, but also the opportunity that spurs to impact other lives and to impact the society in which we live in, and change a lot of things. And it actually has a happy ending. So my pick for the last pick is The Hurricane. That's before you keep sharpening your pitchforks. I see you over there. I think this is a film that is kind of lost in the shuffle more often than not when we talk about Denzel's body of work. It is based on a true story. It is still absolutely a dramatization, but the facts are there, about what happened. This is a lot about Reuben Carter, a man wrongly convicted for the murder of 3 or 4 people, I think, at least. It was 3, right? Yeah. Gets just at the hands of a super, super racist, prejudiced, vengeful cop. Yeah, gets wrongfully convicted and sentenced to 3 life terms in prison, along with another innocent man. And he changes a lot about his outlook in life. He figures out a different approach to. He has so much anger and rage bottled in him because of the injustice, and he channels that in such a unique way. And he impacts a boy in another country, who's writing to him, a young boy writing to him from another country. He connects with him, and that kid reads a book about his struggle because he writes an autobiography while in jail. And the ripple effect of a true story about something that somebody has gone through, and how it impacts the people around them. Is a universal. It's a wide. It reaches a lot of places. This is a movie that will upset you, and then also it'll make you furious. It'll upset you, and it'll enrage you, and it'll also help you see a light at the end of the tunnel. And Denzel goes for broke with this. He reaches into this performance, and he gives one of the best performances of his career. And it's a very, 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 very well directed film. Yeah.
All right, The Hurricane is on the table. Lucas, going to you first.
This is such an interesting movie because I remember after I saw it the first time, I looked the story up, and there's one massive lie in the movie, which is that they portray Reuben Carter as a potential champion. When he went to prison, he was 27-12. He had quite a terrible record. It's a very weird. It's the classic dramatization. It's the classic dramatization thing they do in movies, though, where it's they massively overemphasize someone's position in society at times. This is so tough. I do like The Hurricane. I do like The Hurricane quite a lot. I'm going to vote no purely on the basis of there are 3 or 4 movies that I'd rather see on this final spot than The Hurricane, although I can't really knock The Hurricane that much as a singular movie. It's just there are movies ahead of it.
All right, so that's 1 no for The Hurricane. Going to go to Cody next. Cody, The Hurricane.
Yeah, Lucas, I really wish you wouldn't said that we're going to no vote and then make it sound bad. I just watched this movie recently. I'm going through his entire filmography this year. That's my plan. And I think The Hurricane is really good. I think his performance is incredible. I think the story is completely heartbreaking and sad. But with the movies left on the list, there are just some that I think that I like better. Now, hopefully, I'm not letting a deja vu or a Man on Fire slip through the cracks right now, or Virtual or Ricochet. Something like that. So I'm going to say no to this right now.
All right, so that's 2 no's. Still alive, though. RB3, The Hurricane. Does it make that
Wow. I mean, yeah, I didn't know it was going to be 2 no's. I mean, I'm probably going to vote yes on this one. I do think this is one of the great Denzel performances, too. And I think he didn't. I think this is also in the same boat as them snubbing him for Malcolm X, they kind of they didn't give this performance like the same level of justice that deserved to be given, because it was truly riveting, powerful, really, I think really touched into the core of how it just really spoke to a lot of different on a lot of different levels when it comes to like a lot of issues of incarceration to I think it's just powerful all around. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm defending it a little bit, but because it's already got 2 no votes. But I really love Hurricane. I really like it.
I mean, you're on the defense, so yeah, of course you're gonna be defending the movie.
I mean, I didn't vote no because I disliked the movie. I voted no because there are some big omissions that we have not had. So
Absolutely.
I think Hurricane is great.
And guys, it didn't win an Oscar because a man bench pressed 40 pounds in a garage, and people thought that was deserving of an Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we're not
Kevin Spacey got
Yeah.
Don't forget, there's like a 30-minute montage of a guy bench pressing basically a bar and 2 5-pounders. It's a fun experience.
Yeah.
This is tough because looking at the last spot on the list. Would this be my first nomination if it came back to me? Probably not. But looking at what I don't know if what I would nominate next would get in. And I don't know. Shut up, Cody.
I'm just like, if you don't know and you're already out of movies, maybe you shouldn't be hosting the show right now.
It's not that I'm out of movies.
You're just doing to piss me off. It's fine.
Have you never seen Two Guns?
I mean, let's be real. How is that not been mentioned yet? 2 guns.
Yeah.
There were 2 guns in the movie, man.
There were 2 guns. There were literally 2 guns. Gave you exactly what the title promised. Damn, the Hurricane's so good. Norman Jews did a excellent job with that film. I think I'm gonna slightly edge towards no on this one. Sorry.
Wow.
Hurricane does not make top 7.
You know why he did that? I'll tell you exactly why he did that. Because he gets the next nomination.
All right. Going back to me. To the next nomination. Now I'm stuck between one of 2.
Now we got to dip into our funky picks
Yeah, we do.
that we wouldn't have dared nominate before. Now, why not? Shoot your shot.
There's
Whoa,
3
there are
massive
some.
movies that exist on this board right now.
Well, one of mine is a funky pick that I know all of you are going to shoot down.
Okay.
I'll be real. We're probably not going to get there, Marisol. So you can just you can just hang out.
I'll maintain my dignity. I
All
won't
right.
even
So, well, you can mention it later, but we'll get to this. So, looking at what we have on our list, we have a lot of heavier dramas. So I want to nominate something for the sake of variety. Now, even though we already have something from this director on the list, I think that when Denzel he did a toe into this genre a couple times. I think this is maybe his best effort in said genre. I'm going with Unstoppable. Unstoppable is the greatest Speed sequel that has nothing to do with Speed. The fact that you have
Speed.
Huh? Wait, what?
Better than Speed.
Ah, I'm not gonna go there. But I'm
Yes,
not
it
gonna
is.
go there.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You say so many stupid things on this show. Stop talking.
But the point is like where the whole point is they got to slow a train down. That's it. But the fact that Tony Scott can make this kind of like Crimson Tide, where like the bulk of it's to set inside this like one like airtight location. The fact that you can make this premise as exciting and as like riveting as it is, I think is incredibly impressive. This is the last film that he directed before his tragic suicide, and I think also stands as one of his best. So I am going for the sake of variety, for the sake of, I think this is an awesome movie. I'm gonna go with Unstoppable. Marisol, I know I just shot your movie down, but try not to take that out on me. Does Unstoppable make top 7?
I think I made my stance clear on Tony Scott movies.
Oh, that's right.
I will say this though. I will give Unstoppable some credit because it's probably one of like the least, maybe like the least pretentious is not the word, but it's one of the ones where like it's kind of boiled down to just the basic, just like genre thrills, you know, like it's one of like the most straightforward, I think, you know, train fast, must stop, like it's that's the movie, like, you know, like, and there's kind of an enjoyment in the simplicity of that. It's also really impossible for me to separate Unstoppable from that SNL sketch that they did. I don't know if anybody ever saw that, but SNL nailed it when Jay Farrow used to be on it. They nailed a sketch, little digital sketch making fun of Unstoppable, and it's so on point that it's been impossible for me to get it out of my head, like ever since it came out. Unstoppable's fun, but fun isn't going to get you into the top 7.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay. I did see enthusiastic fist from Lucas, so I'm going to go to Lucas next for his vote. I'm pretty much going, but Unstoppable doesn't make top 7.
So, when I said earlier that Crimson Tide is very close with another Tony Scott movie, I was of course talking about Unstoppable, which fucking rules so fucking hard. Denzel Washington jumping between trains is amazing. The fact that the entire thing it was almost a catastrophe because of Ethan Suplee and T.J. Miller is one of the most fitting castings of all time. I love the fact that a guy who looks like he runs a 40-yard dash in like 9 minutes jumps off a train and thinks he can get back onto it. It's one of these moments you're just like, and then T.J. Miller's just sitting there in a golf cart being like, I don't know. I mean, I guess he'll get back on. This movie it's ridiculous. The fact that it's based on a true story is kind of amazing because it's so ridiculous. You think this cannot be true. It's so much fun though. I love Pine and Denzel together. That's like one of the best pairings Denzel has ever had. For just like great buddy cop movie. I love the chase. The pace of the movie is awesome. The fact that it's like 90 minutes long and just constant ramping up the pressure is so much fun. I absolutely love this. Rosario Dawson is great. Kevin Dunn is great. Yeah, I fucking love this movie. All in. Yes.
So we're tied up for Unstoppable 1-1. Cody, going to you next.
I mean, if I voted the Hurricane, no, I'm voting Unstoppable. No, I don't understand why we're having this conversation right now. There are big ones. I enjoy Tony Scott. I love Tony Scott, but I did not vote the Hurricane to say yes to Unstoppable. This is not what world we're living in. I'm sorry, guys.
Jesus Christ.
We gave you the ball chance, and you decided to literally throw it down the drain. So, congrats.
All right, fine. We're tied up. RB3.
Hey, RB3, if you no vote it, you get to nominate next. Just let you know.
You know, it's really sad too. Like, besides Man on Fire, I actually really, really love Unstoppable too. Like, I would have, if this was like the first round, I would have definitely nominated this. I would have loved to see how far this would have gone. And it's, like I said, it's one of my favorites. But unfortunately, I do got to go for a no vote on this one. So
damn it!
I'm sorry. It's good. It's really, I'm telling you, like, I love Unstoppable.
Oh, me too. But it's not.
Jesus Christ.
It's not top 5. Not top 5.
If I knew what happened, I would have got my other one. But okay, whatever, fine. Not top 7.
Yeah.
RB3, back to you.
Okay. Oh, back to me. Oh my goodness.
We're getting to it now.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it, guys.
I guess this hasn't come up yet, so it's the time to do it. I gotta nominate Philadelphia. Philadelphia is, Tom Hanks playing a really tragic role of a young man who's dealing with having like HIV, and this is definitely really early. This movie came out like really early in the crisis of during that situation, and they address it in maybe ways that are a little dated today for sure. But I think the fact that Denzel had the courage to kind of play in this kind of movie, and knowing the kind of backlash he was probably going to receive from it, which he did receive some backlash from the Black community for how he embraced the message that the movie was trying to go for. I think it's a really powerful thing, and I think it's brilliant. And even though he is like kind of like playing an atypical like kind of homophobic like dude, seeing that journey, him turning into somebody who is open-minded and is willing to help, and all that kind of stuff. I think it's heartwarming and great. So that gotta be top 5 for me. Top 5 material.
All right, so Philadelphia is up for top 7. You're gonna go me first.
Top 7.
And yeah, this is the other one I was debating between going for, and I went with the top one instead. But yeah, Philadelphia I think is fantastic. It's crazy to think that this was Denzel like when he was at his height, and Tom Hanks he was like ramping up because it's like post Joe versus Volcano bombing. So this is like kind of him coming out trying to prove that, like, hey, I can still be like a massive draw and be like one of the best actors of this decade. And the two of them have such a great dynamic together. I think the message of the film is fantastic. I think Denzel, of course, he's great. Well, some of my favorite courtroom scenes in recent memory for any movie. So, yeah, gonna keep it short and sweet. Yes, it does get a yes from me. Gonna go to Lucas. Does Philadelphia get a vote for you?
There was two movies. There was 2 movies that RB3 could have nominated I would have voted for, and Philadelphia happens to be one of them. Yeah, this movie is really great. I think it does age really well because in that era with that time frame, this country was pretty homophobic, pretty blatantly, outwardly, and it was sort of accepted homophobia. And I think the movie just really kind of embraces the fact that was a thing, and then compounds it with the fact that you take something as scary as AIDS, you combine it with homophobia, and it just kind of that as a combination is obviously going to cause people to act in a certain way. I think the movie's really good, and different director, so that's always a good thing. Yeah, I'd vote for it.
All right, so that is it. Our top 7 is locked. Marisol, Cody didn't get votes. Cody, what would you have said about Philadelphia?
Yeah, this is the one that I think should have gotten on. I think this movie is incredible. I think this is one of those movies that I think should be shown to the younger generations to basically to show how bad the AIDS pandemic, AIDS virus was back then, how without the research and without everything, and how people reacted to everybody out there. It's one of the most disgusting displays of our human dignity, decency at all in this movie, and you can see it. I think Denzel does a really good job. Without saying a lot in this movie, he does a lot of it with body language. Like when Tom Hanks touches stuff on his desk and taps him on his shoulder, the disgust that he has and his battle working through that. And that's a lot of people back then, because how Lucas said it was so accepted. And it was you should have been that way. And it's insane to me. That's how we operated as people. So I think Philadelphia is an insanely great film. So yeah, it was going to be my next nomination. So
now, Marisol, what Denzel subsect did Philadelphia go into when you were making your list? Was there the gay panic Denzel subsect?
It wasn't a gay panic Denzel group. There was a lawyer with a uphill battle to climb. Heart condition was on there.
Heart condition.
Yeah, Teen Dead.
Please tell me Philadelphia was above heart condition.
It made it above heart condition. Yes, it did. No, this is a clean sweep. If you didn't say it, if one of you guys didn't say it, Philadelphia was absolutely going to be my next movie. And it absolutely deserves. I'm so happy that we're all in agreement about this, because it absolutely deserves a spot in this top 7. This movie is so important. It may not be the greatest film ever made. I do think it has some flaws. I do think Demi made some, I do think it's not a smooth sailing, the film itself. But the subject matter is undeniable, and it is so important. And I love, this is one of my absolute favorite Denzel performances, because you couldn't have made this today. If you made this today, this character wouldn't work. Everybody needs to be, people are so self-conscious, and things are so, go run by so many test groups. Everybody needs to be an ally to everybody's cause. They even go back and retroactively try to make characters back in time seem like they would have been an ally to people they weren't in movies that they make nowadays. They do this all the time. And they let Denzel be absolutely homophobic. And that doesn't change anything about the fact that his growth by the end of the movie, Tom Hanks is still a person with rights, and that is all that matters. And that is so important. That is so important. And to your point, like so many people need to see that today. Like that message is so much more important. It was absolutely topical and absolutely important to hear and to see in like 1993 when it came out. Like it was absolutely topical and timely and essential to hear then, and it is even more essential to hear now that like we're not going to candy coat it. This guy is homophobic as hell, and that doesn't distract from the fact that human rights are human rights. Leave your bullshit out of this, leave your prejudices out of this, leave your bias out of this. Denzel encapsulates all of that. It is an excellent performance, and he makes his character like, yeah, I get it, I accept him for what he is, but like you respect him more for his actions and what he chooses to do, and he chooses to even do something that doesn't line up with his personal beliefs. Like I said, it's the message is so resounding. Philadelphia all the way, 100%.
All right, so our top 7 is locked. Now, before we continue on to the next round, I do have to give some time to get any honorable mentions I want to throw out there. Just for me, only a few that I didn't bring up. American Gangster is one I'm a pretty big fan of. That really is probably one of Ridley Scott's last great movies, like that and The Martian in the last 25 years. My God, Ridley, what happened to you? Let's see. I find that I'm a bigger fan of The Book of Eli than most people. I actually think that's really.
I like Book of Eli. I like Book of Eli.
Like for those kung fu fight scenes, he put in work, and I appreciate that. And one more I'll throw out there. Speaking of like Denzel, the stage actor, I thought he was really great in Kenneth Branagh, As Much Ado About Nothing. I think the movie itself is also really fantastic.
Yes.
And he really makes you believe that Keanu Reeves could be his brother.
Yeah. That's funny. I love that was a good one.
The movie's great. Yeah, not seen Kenneth Branagh, As Much Ado About Nothing. Go check it out. RB3, anything you also want to bring up before we move on?
I mean, he got Game. Is already up there. Mo Better Blues, I think is another underrated. That was the first Denzel one that they did together. Also Antoine Fisher, the first one he directed, that we didn't really mention, and of course Inside Man with another Spike Lee classic in there as well. So
yeah, and while I was talking about the Denzel movie, I like Denzel direction film I like better than I was talking about Antoine Fisher. I really like Antoine Fisher a lot. Lucas, anything else you want to bring up before we press on?
I mean, Inside Man was the big one. That was the one that I probably that's in my personal top 7. So yeah, that was the one that I was. If I got another nomination, that's the one I was going to nominate.
Cody, anything else you want to bring up?
I know Matthew Broderick is terrible, but I really like Glory. I think he's outstanding in Glory. I think that dynamic of the soldiers work really well in that. Antoine Fisher was definitely on my list, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. Equalizer is a fucking fantastic, fun-ass movie, and I'm glad that it turned into Home Alone in a hardware store, okay? Denzel action is one of my favorite parts of Denzel. Like, he can play action super well, and I actually really like The Equalizer, but I would never brought him up on the show.
Now, really quickly, Ferris, how dare you? Falling asleep in Book of Eli. The disrespect. Marisol,
disrespectful.
Anything else you want to bring up before we continue?
It wouldn't have been any of the ones you guys mentioned. I didn't even put Inside Man because that's one of my top 5 favorite Denzel movies. But I just thought the group would shoot it down, so I didn't even mention Inside Man. But I would have
voted for it.
Go figure. Should have shot that over the hurricane. But yeah, I love Inside Man and Antoine Fisher. I would have given props to Antoine Fisher eventually because that's another solid Denzel in that mentor role. But it's not really his movie. Yeah, but like it is. But he's definitely the Robin Williams to Derek Luce, Matt Damon in that.
Yes.
But yeah.
I also really like the remake of the Manchurian Candidate.
I was about to bring that up. Manchurian Candidate's also really, really great. But yeah, so that's it. We've finished our top 7, our nomination round. So just recap here our top 7. We have Malcolm X. We have Remember the Titans. We have Crimson Tide. We have Flight. We have Training Day. We have He Got Game. and we have Philadelphia. Pretty solid top 7. Great job, guys. I'm very proud of you all. Now, here comes the fun part. Now we come to the cutting round. This is the antithesis of round 1. One of us is going to nominate a movie that should be cut from the list, not move on to the top 5. And same thing. 3/5 vote gets it to get off the list. So who should I give the first? I'm going to give the first cut to Marisol.
Oh.
I know which one she's targeting.
Gentlemen. Look, I feel how I feel. Look, my opinion is valid.
I don't judge you.
Just don't spite me out there, guys.
This is not your show. You cannot tell her opinion sucks. Her list sucks. That's for you.
That's valid.
So
You still can, but it doesn't hold water here.
There's only one that I got to boot off, right?
Okay. Yeah, you only pick one.
Only boot off one.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. Sorry, boys. I'm going to boot off Training Day.
All right. Training Day is on the chopping block. Let me just go put that up right here. Training Day. That's on the chopping block. RB3, this was your nomination. Should it stay or should it go?
Yeah, I mean, there's some mixed reaction to it. I mean, I definitely, I like Training Day a whole lot. I like it a whole lot, and I think it's really a great representation of how corrupt police can get and how bad police people are. And of course it does but it definitely is not something you should be empathizing with, especially during this time. And so I don't know, I kind of feel like I could see it going. I mean, I'm still gonna say yes to keeping it because I'm the one who nominated, and this is the only one I nominated that's up here. So I want to make sure I hold it down. So, besides Philadelphia is up here too. So
see, you have leeway.
Yeah, I have a little leeway, but I'm still vote yes for this.
All right, so that's one vote for Training Day to stay. I'm going to go to Cody next. Cody, does Training Day stay or does it go?
No, it 100% stays. If this was so, there's 7. So if we said, these 2 stay, and it was the 5th one, and you got to consider it off the gate, I think there are 3 that could to go. Training Day is not one of them, so I refuse to let Training Day go at this point.
All right, so Training Day got 2 people standing firm with Training Day. Lucas, Training Day, does it stay or does it go?
It goes. I voted against having it on the list in the first place. I think it's the weakest movie of the 7. Pretty easy. Clear vote. No.
Insane. I'm unfollowing you on Letterboxd.
That's fine. I don't need your. I got better views.
I shouldn't have done this because now it's back to me.
Yes.
Remember, you voted it on. Don't be a douche.
I know I did. Don't be a douche.
Hey, but there's a difference between voting for top 7 versus top 5. That's what this part is about.
That's accurate. It's accurate. Now looking at this list, I can. But I'm contemplating. Cody, give me a sec.
Sorry.
There are a lot of really great ones on here, and I think looking at the ones on here. Yeah, this is one of the ones I like the least, so I'm gonna go. I gotta take Training Day off the list. Training Day is not moving on to top 5.
Wow,
this is invalid. That's fine.
we still got good stuff on here.
Yeah.
RB3. Your one of your picks got cut, so I'm gonna give you the next cut.
Give me a next cut. Well, while we're talking about cuts, subscribe to First Cut YouTube channel.
Now that I'm trying to plug RB3, that comes later.
Let me just try and think which ones. So let me see. It was Crimson Tide. Okay, so if we have to cut one of the ones that were mentioned, I'm sorry. Let me just make sure I have it Crimson Tide.
I can go over it again if you want me to.
Go. Yes. Yeah. Let's see it one more time.
What's left is Malcolm X, Remember the Titans, Crimson Tide, Flight, He Got Game, in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Crimson Tide. I'll take Crimson Tide off.
All right, Crimson Tide is on the chopping block. Was this Cody or I think this is Lucas? Yeah. All right, Lucas. Crimson Tide. The stairs to go.
There's 6 movies left. There are 3 you can't cut, and there's 3 you potentially could. Crimson Tide is in the can't cut bucket. It stays.
Wow.
All right, so one vote for Crimson Tide to stay. I'm not making myself the deciding vote again. So I'm saying Crimson Tide also stays on the list.
Wow.
Marisol, I know how you feel, so just get your no out of the way. We can move on.
Bye.
All right, Cody, we're down to you. Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I want to know if I want to be a douche to Lucas right now.
You are literally on this episode. You're literally on this episode talking about this movie.
So here's my question. If I let Crimson Tide stay, what else goes?
One of
And I'm
them.
terrified.
Really to think about. Yep, it's gonna get ugly.
But to see Marisol write Crimson Tide as the final spot every time as it moves up the list, I have to see that happen. So I'm really Crimson Tide.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Wow, that's just that is.
You said some shit on Tony Scott. It's personal. Okay.
That is blatant targeting now, but I'm gonna allow it.
My feelings were my feelings before I met any of you. So okay, but if we want to make it personal, okay.
All right, so Crimson Tide is officially locked in the top 7.
Wow.
Wow.
So gonna go to me next,
I like this.
and I feel like the most obvious cut is one we haven't even addressed yet, and that's He Got Game. Now, the He Got Game's not a great film, but
What?
we already have the better Denzel Spike Lee movie on the list.
Jesus.
So
That's not a crazy take.
I know, but there's a movie.
You guys asked for this. You did this.
I'm putting He Got
Save
Game.
your
I'm
tears.
putting He Got Game on the chopping block. I believe this is Cody's nomination. Am I
Hell
correct?
no.
Oh, it wasn't. It
Hell
wasn't.
no. There is a movie that is clearly on here that needs to go. It can take its flight back to where it came from.
You can double down over it. Okay.
Return flight.
All right, fine. So one vote for He Got Game to stay. RB3, I think I know where you're going, but He Got Game. Does it stay or does it go?
Jesus, Shuttleworth. That's what I'm totally here for, man. This is a yes for me. Even though part of me does feel like voting no, only for the sole fact that we have 2 Spike Lee movies in here. But nah, I gotta go yes, because it's literally one of my favorite movies of all time. So
All right, so 2, of course. All right, no, that's fair enough. So 2 votes for He Got Game to stay. Lucas, going to you next.
So I grew up a Boston Celtics fan, and the Celtics radio broadcaster is the great Cedric Cornbread Maxwell, who during the Big 3 run in Boston used to refer to Ray Allen as Jesus Shuttlesworth every time he hit a Big 3. And I agree with Cody. There's another movie on this list that we could cut, so I will vote it stays.
All right, so He Got Game.
I will come back on your podcast.
He Got Game officially locked in the top 5. Marisol, where would you have gone? I think I know where you're going.
I would have cut it.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Marisol.
I would have cut it. Sorry.
All right.
It's not as strong as of a film. Although solid, it is not as strong of a film as I think the ones that are left. So I would have cut it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see Marisol's top 7.
All right, Cody. So I know what you're gonna go for. Gonna cut next. I'm just gonna put this right up.
Leaving on a jet plane. Yeah, flight. Get off. You're good. You're on top 5.
All right, Lucas. I want to say you're on the same boat.
Yeah, I like this movie. I also think that if you just look at the career of Denzel, one movie he did with Zemeckis is not. It's a lesser movie. It definitely has more flaws than some of the other ones, and I don't really have a problem not having this on the list.
It's gone. Just DQ.
Big state.
So, all right. So that's 2 votes for Flight to Go. RB3, you got to post this movie in your room.
Can I just point for a second? If RB3 votes to keep this movie, he then has to vote off Malcolm X, Remember the Titans, or Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I do love Flight, but if it's talking about like out of the films we have so far, I'm really surprised Flight made it this far up. If I'm being real with y'all, so Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with cutting this one personally.
All right, so Flight is off the list. I should have gotten Marisol first because that was your nomination, but I think you.
Oh, that was Marisol.
first.
I should
No, it's cool. The temperature in the room is chilly. I get it.
All right, so we have our top
big
five.
girl.
So just as a reminder to the panel and those watching, our top five is Malcolm X, Remember the Titans, Crimson Tide, He Got Game in Philadelphia. So we now come to the last section of the show. This is the ranking portion. What we're going to do is we're going to go around with our whiteboards, paper, whatever we happen to have on hand. A spot for the list is going to be up for voting. We're all going to write down what film we think should go in said spot. So if you all write down what film you think should go in the number 5 spot.
Hold on.
You can answer via words, drawings, whatever you want.
Oh, well,
Zach-
change the.
I'm like, I mean, Zach Ford's not here, so we're not going to get an answer via drawing, but all right, looks like we're all ready. I'm going to go to Marisol first.
My number 5 is Crimson Tide.
All right. My number 5 is He Got Game. RB3.
Gotta be Crimson Tide.
All right, that's 2 for Crimson Tide. Cody.
He Got Game.
Oh,
Wow.
tied up. Lucas, now, let me just ask you, do you have either one of these films for the 5 spot?
You got lucky. I got He Got Game.
He Got Game is
Wow.
locked in at number 5.
So is this like a general? Do people generally like Crimson Tide more than He
Yeah.
Got Game? Like, it's for real?
I like Crimson Tide a lot.
I think that's relatively the consistent. I think would say Crimson Tide over He Got Game. Would be
No,
consistent.
you know how I felt, but Crimson Tide, I had no choice in the matter. All right, that shit got locked in. Okay.
I think you are significantly lower in Crimson Tide than most people.
All right, so now we go for the number. Please write down what you think should go in the number 4 spot on
I
the
should have
list.
just put Jesus shooting a 3-pointer if we're doing drawings, but
You should have gone and found a picture of Jesus and then drawn a basketball.
But it's got to be the Black Jesus.
Yeah.
two people changed their votes.
We're at the shift. There's a shift right about now. All right. So I'm assuming Marisol didn't change.
No, yeah, I just wrote it all over again. I'm gonna keep.
Look,
This is hurting my soul. We're in like the top 4 Denzel ever, and we're like Crimson Tide.
Don't erase something unless it's locked into a spot. RB3 was also assuming you didn't change.
Yeah, I just wrote it in thicker, Crimson Tide.
Thicker with authority this time. All right,
Yeah.
Cody, going to you for your next one because you were a changeover.
Yeah, with the top 3 that are remaining, I'm gonna go Crimson Tide here. I'm gonna end it here.
All right. So it's already locked. It doesn't matter what Lucas and I say. So Crimson Tide is locked in at number 4.
Lucas,
I wish
would you have Crimson Tide?
Let's be real. I did not have to change my vote for number 3.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So now same thing, right? What you think should go in the number 3 spot on the list?
I think I know where this is going, and it's sad, but I think I know.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm good for what I got right now. All right. I'm going to go to myself first. I got Philadelphia at number 3.
Never mind.
Lucas?
I did not have to change it. I have Philadelphia 4-4 and 4-3.
All right. RB3.
Yeah, shout out to the great city of Philly. Can you say that? Oh, there it is. Philly.
If your fingers are kind of in the way. There you go.
Yeah.
Philly the movie.
Philly the movie. All right. Cody, I'm assuming you have the same thing.
Philadelphia.
And
Yep,
Mary's
my city, y'all.
did you
Philadelphia.
betray your city.
Hey.
All right. So
Show some
all right,
respect.
that was a clean sweep at 3. Good job. So now we come to the coup de grace.
I won.
Number 1 movie on the list. Good surprise. Good surprise you. So yeah, right now we think should be number 1 on the list.
Oh, it should be number 1. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would fall over if this was going to.
I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Cody, I think you're writing too many words on that board.
What? Mind your business.
I do want to see the grizzled old Gene Hackman try to play basketball.
Isn't that just white men can't jump 20 years later?
Basically.
It's the sequel.
You thought they could jump before. They really can't jump now.
Or prequel to Hoosiers. You never know.
Let's be real. The coach in Hoosiers definitely can't play basketball. He's just a dick to children playing basketball.
If I can play basketball, I'm going to beat the shit out of you until you can't.
Yeah.
Well, good. All right. Cody.
Not my personal favorite, Denzel, but the best one is Malcolm X.
And yeah, I echo that. X marks the spot.
X.
Malcolm X, and is it a clean sweep? Malcolm.
Yes.
Ah, that's what he went to go grab. All right,
There it
so we have our top 5. So this is the official top 5 Denzel Washington movies. This cannot be disputed anywhere. This is scientific fact because it was on my show. So at number 5, we have He Got Game. Number 4, Crimson Tide. Number 3, Philadelphia. Number 2, Remember the Titans. And the number 1 Denzel Washington movie of all time, Malcolm X. That's signed by Spike Lee.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
That is super.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this show, I believe, was a rousing success. I want to thank my panel for coming on. I'm going to go around the horn. Marisol, anything you want to plug before we close out the show?
No, I kind of keep to myself. But I occasionally pop up on the Schmodown Facebook page. I watch a lot of movies and I write about them on Letterboxd. So if you're bored, you can find me there. See me trickling my thoughts out on Letterboxd about something I saw. It is Marisol_Mariah, MIRIAH, same as my Twitter handle. And I occasionally tweet.
Okay. Cody, anything you want to plug before we head out?
I do a show every Wednesday called Your List Sucks. Everybody's opinion sucks except mine, and I judge you on the show. Everybody brings a top 10 list. It's a fun time. It's actually not as brutal as it sounds, but every Wednesday, Multiplex Entertainment. Come on the show. We have a full list of shows coming up, so check it out.
All right. Yeah, check out that show. I've been on a couple times. I've won a couple times as well, so it's a fun time.
Sure.
Sure. You didn't win. You just lost less than everybody else.
That's the way to look at it. Yes. That's the way to look at it.
Lucas, anything you want to plug before we head out?
So I'm on Letterboxd under my name, Lucas Schulbach. It's letterboxd.com/Schulbach, SCHILDBACH. I host the Untitled Lucas and Zach podcast. We release an episode every Saturday covering a different movie. We're got our final episode of Plain Movies Months. We start 2020 months of movies in March. Chance appears in both months. He will be guesting at the beginning of Plain Movies Months a couple episodes ago, and then he will also appear later in
that's
March.
right. I am at the start of Plain Movies Month. What did I do? Oh yeah, that's right.
We got him to talk because if you have Chance on a podcast, you can't have him talk anything but Top Gun. So
That's true.
we got that out there.
And RB3, anything you want to plug before we head out?
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel, First Cut. We got a lot of great stuff. So Block to Block every Tuesday, 6 o'clock p.m. PT. Also First Cut live every Thursday at 6 p.m. And be sure to check out the Meaning of podcast. We actually, our most recent episode, we talked about director Gina Prince Bythewood. and she actually left a comment on the YouTube video, and she really enjoyed the podcast. So that's dope. So make sure y'all check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely check that out. It's another fun show. And yeah, you can also check me out Twitter, Instagram at ChanceForce_91. If you like the YouTube content, check out the podcast content, Notorious by Chance. Our episode on Pan's Labyrinth published earlier this week. And next month begins movie March for me and Russell. I think we're looking at the Hunger Games franchise next, which should be interesting to say the least. And yeah, check me out on the Schmodown as well with Marisol.
Yeah, I have a match next week. Wait, no.
Oh, she does. She does have a match next week.
Wait, my debut match against Vinny the Ice Pick Mancuso is Friday, March 5th. So watch it. It is going to be a battle. It's actually it's a respectable battle, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and everybody should watch it.
Yes. So I want to say thank you for everyone who watched, and before we leave, it's a big reminder to everybody: Black Lives Matter. Happy Black History Month, everybody. And I will see you next time. Next episode is going to be themed for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Don't know what exactly the topic's going to be yet, but it's going to be something having to do with that. I know you're dying to hear nothing like awful like that, but either way, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.